Welcome back to the Blindsiders. I'm Ben. I'm joined here by Dylan and Brian, and we are here to talk about Survivor 41, episode 6?
6 sounds right.
Yes. So this is episode... there have been 5 eliminated... there's been 6 eliminated players, 5 eliminations. This is a 6th episode with no elimination.
We had to get back in order.
Yeah, so now it should be easy from here on out for me to not screw up the episode number. We have our merge episode with none of the excitement of a merge episode because there's no one got voted out.
Yep.
We have Dylan back here. Dylan, you wanna, before I guess we get into this episode, is there anything you want to talk about from the previous episodes?
No, I mean, unfortunately, I think I missed probably the 2 best episodes of the season, of course, and I returned for this stinky pile. So naturally, I'm just glad to be back to start yelling about things. But I think you guys did a great job covering it. Like I said, probably the 2 best episodes of the season, without a doubt, especially episode 4. So I'm still very much Team Shan. I'm rooting for Shan. As we'll discuss today, I'm still very much team Xander. Not a whole lot has changed for me, other than just I'm now more angry at Jeff. We'll get into it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
To this episode, I think that we've covered everything we need to cover within the episode of basically just saying it apparently was a merge episode. They're pretending it wasn't a full merger episode because some people don't have immunity. Yes, that this is now a Survivor. This is our life now.
Well, technically, nobody has immunity because all of the people who got immunity are probably stripped away.
Yeah, Schrodinger's immunity right now.
Yeah,
everyone equally has and does not have immunity until she smashes that class.
Yeah. Definitely. We'll talk about that. Basically, nothing in this episode mattered. It's very similar to the Brad boot in that way, where we set up a lot of twists and turns in the episode that seemingly will have exactly 0 repercussions on the future. But I guess we can start off here. We open this up with another post-tribal council scene with the 2 remaining members of UA, Shan and Ricard, who immediately start bickering about the extra vote again.
Yeah, it definitely undercuts a lot of what we said last week when we were like, you know what, this is what you have to do. You got to go into the merge with the person you really trust, the person that you know will have your back, the person who is strategically, in tune with you. And then we get back here and it's like, oh, okay, so that was wrong. I am on Shan's side because I was on Ricard's side before Tribal Council. Yep, hold on to it. Ensure that you get through the vote. But then when you come back, I feel like Ricard should have been like, awesome, here's your extra vote back. You and me, we got this to the end. Let's do this. But he did not do that.
I think he realized, and I think in his shoes, I'd probably do the same because I think he's realized he has 0 power when it comes to playing with Shan. He has no power. Him trying to take hostage of that advantage is really the only ability of power he can exercise at the moment. So I don't necessarily hate it, but Shan looks better in the end always because she ended up getting it back, obviously, and B, he showed his colors that he's not truly reliable. I stick. So I guess that's another point I would have made about the episode I missed. I stick to my guns that I said to you guys in the text, is that I think Shan would have voted him out if he had given up the advantage back to her.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think in that situation he just can't give it up. Like after seeing JD give it up and get voted off, like there's no way. It's like, okay, if you're voting me off, you're sacrificing this.
I think he said that at the end of the last episode too, didn't he? I think he mentioned that, like, oh, so I can just be the next JD, something along those lines. So he's not dumb. He's definitely not dumb. He just doesn't. I don't think he's a great player, but we'll see.
Right.
He's still here.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what Brian said, that I think the play is definitely to hold on to it through the tribal council as like the only amount of leverage you really have within the relationship, and then afterwards, once you've like basically made the merge at that point, you give it back because like, I mean, I have no idea. Like, I guess there never would have been a situation where they go to another tribal council, but like, if in their minds they're like, oh, what happens if we go to another tribal council? It's like, okay, well, I mean, she has the idol, you're just gone anyways. I assume that's how that would work.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. So you have to assume that the next round is the merge, and going into a merge, if your plan is to work as a duo, there's functionally no difference with who has the extra vote and who doesn't. So you should just do the thing that makes you look like the least like a snake, which is to follow through on your promise to not hold on to it indefinitely. But yeah, I think the problem here comes down to something that Dylan mentioned, which is like a difference in power and a difference in leverage. And Shan kind of like brutally lays this out to him, which is that like she's been the one that's exercised all of the social power within the duo. Like she is the one who had the better relationships with other people in that tribe, and was in the position to like choose Ricard or to like cast him aside, and she chose to keep Ricard, whereas Ricard never really had that power, and all of his power derived from just being the person that Shan decided was going to be her number one, which there's obviously merit to that as well. But I think this was kind of like a way for him to poorly exercise leverage that he doesn't actually have because he's like kind of insecure in his social positioning. That's how I would read it.
Especially when you suspect a merge.
Yeah.
Once you get there, especially when Shan is going to be his only ally, seemingly, you're going to start getting picked off one by one. This is all knowing before what we now know now, obviously, but his mindset going into that, yeah, it should have been that he's just trying to please Shan as much as possible because she's going to last longer than him. So,
yeah, I mean, he needs to recognize the position that he's in is like pretty bad. Like going into a merge, just numbers wise, obviously, like you don't pose as big a threat as Luvu, so you probably aren't going to get sniped immediately. But like you need to go into the merge like as tight with that too as possible. We talked about it, like I said, a lot last week, that's really their biggest like and best play is to just go into the merge connected at the hip and try to navigate it as best as possible.
Yeah, you have to be like the Denise and Malcolm or the Steve and JT coming into that situation. Like if you don't, you're just kind of setting yourself up for failure. And even from his perspective within the duo, he knows that Shan went on this like island adventure with Liana, and he has like basically no ins with anybody else. So even from a like greater perspective of the game, Shan also still has the better social bonds already set in place potentially within a merge. So like, yeah, I think he just kind of overplayed his leverage, or the leverage that he thought he had when he didn't. Yeah, I think he kind of ends up here in a position which is like the worst of both worlds, where he ends up eventually giving the extra vote back, but he like puts up so much of a fight about it, and like like pushes back so hard that he's like essentially burnt a lot of the potential trust that he had with Shan anyways. So he like loses both the trust and the vote.
Was that like the first time we've seen like true conflict in this game between two people like arguing? Because I feel like everybody else has been so like very chill and relaxed, except for maybe Tiffany like losing her mind behind the scenes on her tribe. But even then, I feel like this is the first time we've really seen two people argue in this season like that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see how friendly everyone is once we get like an actual merge. I'm very curious. Is this just gonna be like, oh, we'd hate to vote you out? It's like the Canadian Survivor. It's like, oh, sorry, I'll vote out myself instead of you. That's like pretty much what everybody has said like in the confessionals.
But we haven't gotten to the Canadian Survivor yet. That's the rest of the episode.
Yes, the real focus on the Canadian Survivor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're at the point where like we're about to get to where there are lines in the sand drawn, and
Yeah.
then that's usually when we get like the bitterness, when people are like, "Oh shit, I'm on the wrong side of this, and I don't know what I can do to get back right." So, well, we'll be fine. We've had, of course, moments like Cass 0% chance of winning the game. That was fun. So we're almost to that point. Not in this episode, of course.
This would have been the episode where this normally would happen. Yeah, I mean, I do think a lot of that comes down to most of the votes have been like complete blindsides. So there hasn't really been like, other than like Jeannie blowing up for being left out of the Brad vote a little bit. There hasn't really been an opportunity for there to be any kind of real drama. And like Luvu, which is the tribe that has, like, in my opinion, the most potential to have explosive drama, has not gone to a tribal council yet. So. Yeah. I guess the next thing before the weird not merge situation that we saw that was important was just a quick check-in on Yasa, where mostly Liana is the one who's reaffirming here that while everybody is playing it like this is a tight four going into a merge for Xander's benefit, in her mind at least, this is still the three girls having the social control, and she sees Xander as essentially kind of expendable. As a resident Xander stan on the podcast, Dylan, what are your thoughts on this?
I just feel so bad for him. This poor guy. It's like I'm perfectly fine with the all girls alliance. It makes sense. It's the majority. They did their job so far and got out. Obviously, they're the only four left, so they did their job. I don't understand why everyone is saying Xander's overconfident, because maybe it could be the edit, and I'm not completely ruling that out. But everything we've seen from him, he's just this nice, sweet guy. He says how much he loves his tribe. He tells them every single thing he learns for some reason, which, as I say that out loud, maybe that's not the best strategy, even though I'm saying he's playing like almost a perfect game on any other season so far. I don't know. But other things transpired in this episode that both made me worried and feel much better for him. I just don't know, but he's the clear target. And in the end, it's because Leanna's not a dumb player. She recognizes that he has power, and she now has the ability to steal it. And she also knows that she potentially has the backing to get him out, where with somebody like Nasir, she wouldn't. So I hate it because I'm a Xander stan. But as someone who likes people that are playing the game smart, like I think Leanna is right now, I have to respect it. But I don't like it. And my poor little Xander, I don't think he's going to go very far. If he does, did I adopt Xander as my new winner, or did I do Shan? I don't remember. I'm taking them both.
I would take Shan if you had a choice, but yeah.
I think if he finds his way out of this, but it doesn't even seem like in this episode he found a real alliance with others, even with Nasir. I don't know. I do think that his clock's ticking, and I hate it because, as we saw later in this episode, he goes balls to the wall in challenges. And I know that's not everything, but as a guy who has found an advantage, has found an idol, and is really busting his butt in challenges, he seems like someone that should be able to make it far, but it's just not there. And it seems like the edit. Speaking of edit. They're making it very clear that everyone's trying to kill him. So it's either gonna go one or two ways. He's either gonna win it, or he has like one episode left. I'm scared.
Yeah, I mean, he's lucky that the boys only club is forming. Like that's good and lucky for him, and I think he's down for it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just setting up that Liana's going to steal his idol. Like, all this talk is just like, there's no other outcome that's going to happen here, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's like the narrative that's definitely being formed. There's a brief mention later in the episode as well of like her potentially stealing Nasir's idol, because everybody who's aware of the nursery rhyme twist knows where all the idols are. So that's also, I think, a potential, but I do think that from a narrative perspective, it seems like Xander is going to get screwed again here by this completely overpowered advantage.
My favorite comment I saw on Reddit was that Erica is going to end up choosing to not smash because she just doesn't want Xander to get immunity.
Oof. She's gonna pass instead of smash and,
So, I think
ruin it for Xander.
Is that are we gonna call this twist the smasher pass?
Yep, we are. Absolutely.
Yeah. You're here first.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Didn't we start this season out talking about like Survivor having misogyny or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, John Rocker was mentioned a few times.
This is feminist. She's the one choosing to smash or pass.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This isn't
so
face
she's choosing
smash. Yeah,
she's choosing to smash or pass Xander.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's reverse.
As
It's
she
reverse
should.
roles.
Yes.
Basically, yeah. Everyone's moving this game.
Sexism
how to
solved.
fuck over Xander.
All right. we took a turn there. That's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious kind of where this is going to go. But yeah, Xander's kind of been. Like, I agree with you that there's kind of an undercutting here of like Xander is cocky, when I think the actual storyline is more like Xander is naive.
Yes. Yep.
And that's kind of being read as cockiness.
There's a line between confident and trustworthy, but then there is a gray area there of just being blind to what's going on around you. So yeah, I agree with you guys of they're building it up as a blindside or building up to Leanna stealing it from him. I do kind of wonder though if there is a chance down the road that they're also maybe building up him knowing beforehand, and maybe we get a little bit of a surprise. They didn't show it yet in the episode, him handing it off to someone else after being warned. I wonder if that's something we'll get.
That'd be...
My question is that if she calls on the person and they don't have it, does she lose that advantage?
Yeah, yes. I think it's over. That'd be a fucking smart move. You put it to one of the other guys, be like, look, she's going to try to steal my idol. Nasir, you have an idol, hang on to it, and then play it for me at Tribal Council. And then you just circumvent the twist. I like that.
Well, yeah, you give your Nasir to... you give your idol to Nasir. Now he has two idols. Mm-hmm. Liana tries to steal your idol. It fails. And then Nasir gives you your idol back at Tribal Council.
Or he just plays it for you. So it never
either way.
Like,
yeah. I guess that is something we didn't talk about last week in terms of like a way to get around this what appears to be relatively overpowered advantage.
Mm-hmm. Which is going to play hot potato.
Yeah, if you get a heads up about it, you secretly pawn off your idol or advantage on a trusted ally, and then Liana wastes hers and gets bamboozled. She gets 3-card moneyed, and then you just take it back.
And we'll talk about how later in the episode, obviously, the secrecy of this is blown up very easily. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah. All right. I think the Luvu scene was relatively worthless.
It's fine.
We can skip that. It was basically just potentially foreshadowing them tag-danging themselves here at the merge.
They're going to tag-dang themselves so hard.
Yeah.
As we saw.
Yeah, as has been telegraphed for like 4 episodes here. But yeah, let's get to Jeff's like little 2-minute confessional where he stares into her soul as he explains the most confusing twist in the history of Survivor.
Yeah. No, it felt like, I don't know if you've ever like been invited somewhere and then like you get there and they're like, by the way, we have to move all this shit and I expect you to help now. Like, I wouldn't have come had I known this was like what was happening. I don't know if I would have watched had I known.
I audibly gasped when he was saying it out loud, only because it was another time in this season I had no idea what he was saying, and also at the same time, if just seeing just him, it's almost like we're watching like a Survivor documentary of like behind the scenes stuff when he does this, and I really don't like it.
Yeah.
It's like it's way too meta, and I think that if you have to do the behind the scenes stuff to explain it beforehand, because you know that the way it's being explained to the players isn't, hey, they're not letting them know everything, obviously, but then if they're not letting them know anything, I don't know if I want to know it either. You know what I mean? Because the whole point of this show is to be watching it like we're watching these people trying to survive on an island, and it's just I hate keep talking about it because it's like beating a dead horse, but they do it every single week again and again and again, and it's just crazy to me, and it's I hate it. I hate it. I almost told you guys I'm out. I'm done. I sent the gift, but I didn't send the text. Yeah. I said I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going back to watching season 16. It's much better. I'm done. I'm gonna stick around. I just hate it, and every single time I see it, it takes me more and more out of the show.
Yes.
It's gone from being upsetting to now it's exhausting, and I just don't. Yeah. I don't want to keep doing it.
Yeah, for me, so every time Jeff aggressively addresses us, which I don't want him to do, it's Halloween. This is like our Halloween episode. I'm dressed as the scariest thing.
That was on the YouTube. Great shirt. Yeah. In the buff.
I'm dressed as the scariest thing I could think of, which is myself cast on the dumbest season of Survivor. But
oh wow,
this like when he talks to the camera, I don't know if you've ever seen the Blair Witch Project, but spoilers for that. The last shot when the guy's staring at the wall, that feeling you get when you see that shot is the same unsettling feeling I get when Jeff aggressively addresses me on camera. I do not like it. I don't want to be a part of this, and he's making me be a part of it.
Yeah, it's like it feels like they heard about like interactive television and like Bandersnatch and stuff like that, and they're like, okay, how can we do that with Survivor? But in reality, like Dylan was saying, it's incredibly immersion breaking in terms of just like it breaks the flow of the show. It means that now I have to like grab a piece of paper and draw out like a flow chart to understand what the hell is going on, rather than like focus on what's going on in the episode, and then still not understand until it's all said and done. So I can't really follow the narrative of what's going on. It's
where's Jeff and his whiteboard when you need him? Like, we don't need him addressing us. We need him drawing the flow chart for everybody.
It's wild that in Cambodia they thought that it was necessary to bring out a whiteboard to explain the concept of like Keith having to would have been like eliminated by default, but that was relatively straightforward compared to literally everything about this season. So it almost kind of shows that the show is like self-aware that it kind of needs to dumb some things down, but on top of that is like making things as complicated as possible for no reason.
No reason.
Yeah, it reminds me of that TikTok sound. I don't know if you're on TikTok, but it's just like, fair enough. Don't really understand it, but fair enough. That's how I am every time Jeff breaks out a twist. Just like, all right, man, just fucking tell me what happens at the end of this, because I'm not following.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that case,
important to see English isn't even his first language. How the fuck is he supposed to keep up with this? This is some bullshit.
I said it too. I said it on the text that, like, we're sitting at home on our couches, comfortable, well-rested, well-fed, watching this on television, being explained the twist directly to our face by Jeff, and we still don't know what the hell's going on. I can't imagine being on the show, being sleep-deprived, food-deprived, having, like, only bits and pieces of the twist fed to you here and there, and like trying to comprehend what's going on in the game and like make decisions based off of it. It's like borderline impossible to even like put yourself in that position.
It's also at the point where I just don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care to like have to pause it and go back like I did in the other episodes and try to understand what he's doing. I'm now just like, whatever, what's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I have no control over this.
Yeah,
it's in God's hands now. That's how I feel. Should we talk about one of the most like lopsided tribe splits ever?
I mean, I guess the upside is it might not end up back.
Yes, that's true. Fuck you guys for being on the strong tribe.
Yeah, we might have watched like a 10-minute challenge for no reason, and we basically watched a 1-hour episode for seemingly no reason. So it all kind of comes together. So, but yeah, I mean, this was like they showed the teams, and I was like, okay, I could just go on my phone for 10 minutes here. I don't have to watch this.
Poor Heather didn't even want to go over to the other side. She kind of waited and stuck over there with the rest of Lulu, and then she realized that she had to go. She's like, oh shit. Yeah. The second I saw that team, the second I saw what they had to do, I did not think Yellow was gonna even complete it. So props to them for even getting up and over those on the backs of Xander, of course. Literally up and over on the ball on the wall. That was impressive, and I thought that was great teamwork. But man, yikes.
Yeah, it was like, okay, here are the teams, and here's the challenge. First thing you have to do is dig a giant boulder out. It's like, all right, well, I think we know what's going to happen here, Jeff. I don't see the need to run any more of this challenge. Let's just concede and get out ahead of it.
I should grab a snack.
Yeah.
Also, I think, and this is kind of obvious, I don't think that Yellow was even remotely close to getting that puzzle. I think when Xander said the merge feast, I think he was literally looking at them putting in like the last letter into their puzzle. So I think that it was very much not close.
Like, even though they probably did know it, it's like the way it was set up, there's no way they were coming back on it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's No, it was unwinnable. Like this would have been like 99.9 to 1 Vegas odds, like crazy, like you'd have to like find the most like cracked out gambling addict on the Vegas Strip to bet for the Yellow Tribe here.
Yep.
I feel really bad for Heather because all we see of her is just her stinking in challenges. Because also they're pretty much doing almost all physical challenges at this point, and that's all we get of her.
Yeah, but now she's made the merge. She's a lock to like go super far since she sucked so much at challenges. Like,
who knows?
Who knows if she's funny? Or, I don't know if she's inspiring to kill everyone on the island. I don't know because she had zero confessional time with her. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure in the scenes on the beach that we got from the Yellow people, like the camera literally was framed around them to cut her out of the shot.
She was the one holding the camera. Hey Heather, can you film this while we go with Lulu, please?
Yeah. Hey Heather. Yeah, do you want me to do a confessional? No, can you move? You're blocking the shot.
You're in the way of Shannon Liana.
Yeah.
Which I feel like, once again, you're getting meta. There's no way. There's just no way she's the winner of the season.
Oh, yeah, no, she's not.
No,
there's just no way that she somehow comes behind or even makes it far because we've spent no time with her.
I don't know. We've had some people make it very far in the more recent seasons who just did not get any confessionals, so I'm not counting her out completely.
No, yeah, she could easily go far, but she is not winning season 1. So, yeah. I guess I'll quickly run through the twist with all of the information that we eventually get as well, so that we don't have to talk about it for very long, hopefully.
Yeah.
So basically, the 12 people are going to draw rocks. There's 5 yellow rocks, 5 whatever other color rocks, blue,
yeah.
And then 2 gray rocks, which are the bad ones, obviously. And so we have our lopsided teams, and then we have Erica and Nasir draw the gray rocks. The 2 teams are going to compete in the challenge. The winning team is going to be ostensibly immune and get to go and do the normal merge feast, while the other 5 get to go back to camp and cry. And then after the challenge, the winning team also is going to be able to choose to co-opt one of Nasir and Erica, bring them along as if they had won the challenge with them, and send the other one to Exile Island for 4 years to get presumably a strong power. That person ended up being Erica. And then we find out at the end of the episode that Erica gets to potentially use a DeLorean to turn back time and make the challenge result happen the opposite, so that her and all of the losers get to be immune instead, and all of the winners get to scramble and potentially be voted out.
Yeah. Survivor's really funny, and Jeff's is really funny because it's like, all right, in this hourglass that is up like fully through, you have everything that's happened, and you can turn back time by flipping it over. No, what? By smashing it. Why would you flip it over?
I thought it was.
It's like, oh, sorry. I thought that was just like it's an hourglass. Okay, you're right. We'll smash it.
You can't do a slow-mo shot of somebody flipping over an hourglass. A slow-mo shot of somebody smashing an hourglass.
My fault. My fault. I didn't think about that.
That's gonna be a great shot next week.
I thought
it obviously happens.
I thought we were gonna get like a big reveal, the big game changer survivors that they discovered time travel when we were about to literally witness going back in time, but nope.
We've discovered time travel. We haven't discovered how to do it through space though. So if you time travel, you will be flung off of the Earth into space, but still kind of cool,
right? Mm-hmm. Here, smash this instead of tipping it over.
By the way, yeah. This is how it works. This is time travel on Survivor.
We discovered time travel, but legally we can't let a Canadian do it.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna take this. Goodbye. Enjoy your exile island.
Yeah.
It's also like, can I do it now? He's like, no.
No.
Dude, think about it. We need to do it. We need this to be a cliffhanger, okay?
Yeah. Because I'd be like, oh, all right, bam. Like, no way I'm gonna be eligible to be voted for after sitting on an island.
20 people, but we chose not to for some reason. So we have 2 extra episodes we have to fill in.
Oh man, it's ridiculous.
I hate it.
But yeah, so I guess Ben, you said it. She 100% does this, right?
No, yeah, no. This is like even okay. Obviously, with perfect like omnipotent or like omniscient information, she 100% has to do this. Like we know that she's one of, if not the major target, if she doesn't, right?
If she doesn't do it, I'm shutting the episode off next week, and the whole podcast will have to be you guys recapping to me what happened.
Yeah.
I'm going to shut the episode off.
I might do it. I might shut it off as well. Like it would be pretty dumb. But yeah, like obviously she's going to do it, and then again, that means that the entire episode was literally.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, look, what it comes down to at the end of the day is she was pretty much shown she's at the bottom of her tribe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy the fucking rock, paper, scissors thing. Like, you picked Nasir over me. Fuck you. Like, the 4 of you are on this. I'm going to protect myself. Like, I'm sorry. I haven't been to camp for the first 2 days of the merge. I'm the easy boot. So I'm just going to, protect myself. It makes perfect sense.
As someone who in LRGs in the past has used rock, paper, scissors and, pick a number 1 through 10 as a fake way to cover up a strategic decision that I was making, I appreciate it. I do think it's, although transparent, definitely correct to do. But yeah, obviously, even if she doesn't think that she's on the bottom, right? Like, the choice is immunity and not immunity, right? And either way, you're pissing off half of the tribe, or like half of the merge tribe, right? Because you're based, like your life, their life is in your hands no matter what. So either you can choose to save half the tribe and doom the other half, or you can say, oh, I could have got immunity for myself, but I hate you 5 so much that I didn't even want to do that to give you guys immunity as well. So like, you're screwed either way with half the people, so you might as well just do the option that makes you immune, right? It's so easy.
So easy.
If she doesn't, she deserves to be voted off.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yes. 100%.
Yeah, if she doesn't and she gets voted out, like, this is going to be in the, like, stupidest Survivor moves of all time montage.
Which is I was going to say, what I would stick to of what we talked about last time I was on the show with Leanna being frustrated about not voting out the obvious vote out with Xander in the advantage. I still think that was a very dumb move. This would be on the maybe even higher than that it's very stupid not to smash it. And also production would be very upset.
Yeah, I always feel like, and this is something for like future players who are actually going to play. If there's an obvious moment where for you to play into the theme of a season or to like make a move that production obviously wants included, just do it, because you're going to be like the production's favorite. You might even get invited back for another season just because you did something interesting when other people didn't have the opportunity to. Like, it makes no sense to turn something like this down.
Jeff basically said that. He's like, hey, you gotta do it, make Survivor history, and make sure all this work didn't go to waste, or you're just gonna do nothing.
Yeah,
that's almost exactly what he said.
Yeah, are you gonna fuck us here, Erica? Let us know.
Yeah, we already paid for the slow-mo cameras, Erica. Don't fuck us over.
Yep. Oh man,
you know how much our class cost?
Yeah, so if
we just smashed it.
If you like end up on a season and it's Joe's versus Smo's or some shit, you make up a reason why you're a schmo to a T, and you'll get airtime and production will love you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I guess we could talk about the like limited social interactions we get here. You guys want to start with the Merge Feast stuff, or do you want to start with the Shan Liana stuff?
Yeah, let's do Merge Feast, then Shan Liana, then use that to go into the potential new alliance.
Sure. Yeah, so we have the Merge Feast here, and this the Luvu people are relatively tight-lipped about what their kind of social structure, and they're definitely overselling this whole, like, you know, oh, we're just the Kumbaya tribe. We've never really had to vote each other out, so we just all love each other. When we know that's not true. But I think the main thing that happens to Merge Feast is Danny makes a comment to Evie, which is something that he also commented to other people in his tribe, like Deshaun, and he's also said in his confessionals, which is, hey, you know, we noticed that Yasa voted out 2 men. That seems relevant.
She said her pet peeve, or they said their pet peeves were men. So
true. Yeah, there was. I saw a meme of that on Twitter during the episode.
That's good. I mean, they didn't lie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is a not super smart, in my opinion.
No,
by Danny.
Really dumb.
Particularly when, you know, even though there's not a huge disparity, there is a 7-5 disparity in terms of gender at this point, if that's something that Danny truly is worried about. So vocalizing that to 5 other people at a Merge Feast seems counterproductive to trying to to do something about it, if that's so worried. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Dylan?
I do think it's a legitimate worry because it is what they were doing. All right, they were forming an all girls alliance to vote out the men, which it's not as much as a man hating thing as we're trying to align with the women and win this thing for once, apparently in like 12 seasons, whatever it is. So I think it's something that Danny's certainly conscious of, and it actually this leads into what I said I wanted to talk about on the pod too, because you said that we think potentially. Someone that was at that feast could be in trouble. I think it could be Evie if things get flipped, especially if Danny has pretty much his Luvu people there. So I don't necessarily agree that it was terrible to call it out, but at the same time, it may be an actual worry that could end up getting Evie voted out. If that hourglass does get broken, I think that she may be the odd man out. Because we have Sydney who's there with who's that? So that would be Nasir, Danny, Deshaun, and I guess Ricard would be the only other non-Luvu in there. So the numbers are against Ricard and Evie. I personally don't think they would vote out Sydney because they're trying to keep their Luvu strong. But then again, I don't know because as we see later on, there's alliances being made all over the place, and I don't know which one's real at this point, but. If I had to be worried about someone at that feast, I think it would be Evie, or maybe Ricard, but I still think it would maybe be Evie in the end too, because they may be more concerned about dominating physical challenges. But actually, everything at this point is going to be individuals for most parts. So, yeah, I'm worried about Evie. Another one of my top players. I'm really hoping to get far, but that that's a lot of maybes in there, but that's my worry with that situation.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, we can wrap up kind of our predictions, I guess, for next week as well, because we didn't really get any closure for this week. But I guess we can go back to camp here with the Yellows, and we have technically 5 people here, but 4 if you don't include Heather, who is completely purpled and irrelevant. Yeah, she was helping out the camera crew. And we immediately cut to 3 people standing together, Shan, Liana, and Tiffany. And Shan said to Liana, "Oh, so you got that advantage, right? That advantage that I allowed you to get, and obviously know that you got that, right? Huh? You got that?"
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, does she do this on purpose, or is this just kind of like a rookie Survivor move where she kind of get excited and like, this is the first time I'm going to be able to speak to Liana since that moment. I'm going to just come out and say it because, man, really threw Liana under the bus for no reason.
I mean, maybe for no reason, given how this ends up playing itself out. But yeah, I would have liked to have gotten a confessional from Jan here to kind of know why she did that. But yeah, we get a confessional from Liana where Liana's like, "What the hell? Why would you do that?" And we get the moment from Tiffany like, "Oh, I knew you might have gotten an advantage when you went on that thing." Yeah. So you got an extra vote, right? An extra vote. Hmm?
And then stalking Liana throughout the island until she told me.
Yeah.
I don't know why Liana didn't just go like, "Yeah, I got an extra vote." Like,
yeah.
Tiffany doesn't need to know what your advantage is if you're not going to tell her in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we mentioned at the start of the podcast, the more people who know about this, the easier it's going to be for its power to be negated, like if the information gets out. And, after the conversation that we see Liana and Tiffany have on the beach, where Liana's pitching for her to steal Xander's idol and for them to vote him out, Tiffany doesn't seem super on board with that. And so that definitely leaves open this kind of potential possibility of Tiffany leaking the info of this knowledge is power advantage to Xander so that Xander can make the move that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, no, you gotta love Tiffany. She's ready to flip on a moment's notice. Mm-hmm. Xander was persona non grata on the Yasa tribe, and now she's like, I've never not been loyal to Xander in my life. I would ride or die for him.
Yeah.
So, love that. No notes for her casting at all.
Yeah, she's chaos. She's like in Emerald of Chaos. Just like, every time she decides she's making the decision on what to do, she like rolls a die and sees where it comes up and is like, okay, this is what I'm going to do this time.
I love it.
Completely unreliable and unpredictable, which I think Liana is aware of at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this situation, Dylan?
I think it shows how good of a player Shan is that we're giving her even the benefit of the doubt that she did this calculated and not completely on accident. Like you said, we have no idea because they didn't do any sort of confessional, which leads me to believe it was accidental, honestly. But big hole in Liana's plan, which goes back to my theory that maybe we'll get a little editing, non-editing with Xander finding out and giving up the idol. I don't know. Ever since we did the Goats and AstroTurf,
mm-hmm.
I'm not ruling that out now because that's clearly a path that they don't mind going.
Right.
But yeah, tough for Liana. I think it's visible how frustrated she is with how things have gone for her recently, and I think she's upset how she was pulled in by Tiffany and Evie to vote with Voce instead of either Tiffany or Xander. but it seems like she did get a little bit of relief towards the end of this episode with obviously what I'm assuming we'll talk about next, which I'm all in on this alliance for sure. Definitely am.
Yeah. So we have our blue folks coming back from their merge feast / tribal reward, which is basically what it is. Actually, we're using all of these weird terms. So what ends up being just basically a reward / immunity challenge.
If she breaks the glass, do the others get to eat?
No, they have to baby bird them. At least I think.
Yeah, we gotta go make everyone that went to the feast throw up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you guys get to eat that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to put that visual to all of our viewers and listeners, but
commit to it, Jeff. If we're going back in time, you have to feed the others.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then starve the people that ate.
They've saved a lot of money on the Survivor craft services this season by not giving rewards. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that's just I'm glad I've already eaten for tonight. That's what I'll say. But yeah, this tribe comes back and they start mingling and they start preemptively deciding on who is going to get voted out here. And obviously, Erica has been gone for the last week and a half from the tribe, so pretty easy call for them to all just be like, yeah, let's just get rid of Erica. We wanted to get rid of her anyways. We've been trying. We tried to throw the last 7 challenges to get rid of her, but Nasir won't let us.
Nasir's too good. So
so bad.
Yeah. And then there's like a moment of like, oh, is this too good to be true that they're just gonna let us allow them to crumble and like turn on themselves for no reason? And while that does seem to be what they are trying to do, it is seemingly going to be too good. But among all of this, we get the setup for a potential new cross-tribal alliance because we have our 4 black contestants all having the conversation together of like, hey, we have like the shared experience and culture from being black. It's been very difficult in the past on a lot of these reality shows for black people to work with other black people because of casting limitations and because there's been a lot of people of color voted out very early on Survivor in particular, and also on Big Brother and a lot of these other shows are generally targeted pre-merge. So the opportunity for black people to make the merge on Survivor season is, while not unique to this season, still very rare. So we have the pieces in place for a potential 4-person alliance with Shannon and Liana, who are already creating a bond, and then obviously also Deshaun and Danny, who seem to be potentially the closest pair from Luvu anyways. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good strategy for them. No one's going to see it coming because it's like a cross-tribal involving all 3 tribes. And we saw it on Big Brother, very similar situation, and it worked so well. Even though they didn't have the majority of the players in the game, they were able to navigate it in such a way to where they were able to push the other players to do their bidding and do what was best for their alliance until they got to a point to where they could control the vote. So we could see something similar happen here.
Yeah. And I think this leads into what I want to say, which is I am going to predict pretty safely that I think Sydney is going to get voted out next episode. And the reason why is if this 4 coming together is the setup for at least next episode, if not the future into the next few episodes of the game, we have, if we're going to like do this kind of onion setup or whatever, Shan has Ricard, theoretically, potentially. Evie has Liana has Evie, theoretically, potentially. And then I think that Danny and Deshaun have Nasir, theoretically, potentially. That covers everybody who is going to be no longer immune heading into the Shuttle Council, except for Sydney. So if I had to guess, I would put my money on Sydney being the most likely boot. But I can see the argument for it being Evie as well. But I would probably guess Sydney and then Ricard being the second most likely, and then Evie.
See, I was gonna say I actually do think Ricard is my second, also ahead of Sydney. So once again, Ben and I are just at odds. The conflict of this pod just rages on. Yeah, I mean, we have the same three up top. I think it's obvious. You know what I mean? Yeah, I have Evie, Ricard, Sydney. I almost like now, after talking this through and hearing you say that, though, I mean, I almost wonder if Shane is smart enough or deviant enough to just get rid of Ricard. Say, hey, this guy is a little snake, and maybe get rid of him before he even reveals what she has. Yeah. So that's maybe a possibility too, and I guess that's why I'm throwing him second. But
I think Ricard did himself no favors by pulling this bullshit with the extra vote.
That's kind of like one thing that I'm now excited for, I guess, next week, though, is I guess that the outcome of that, because I think that three pretty good cases there have now been made of who could be voted out.
Yeah. Also, poor Erica. She's been on Exile Island by day 13 for 15% of the entire game. Not great. Why did they have to do 2 days to her? They didn't even do 2 days every time they had like a 39-day season. Shit.
Yeah, no, it sucks for sure. But this is a pretty strong power, so it kind of balances out potentially. And we got a little bit of her story that we hadn't really gotten before. A little bit of her like backstory and her personal achievements and like personal like life experiences, which is nice because we haven't seen a ton from her other than being a target on Luvu.
Yeah, I think that about does it, right?
Yeah. Well, you have to break the tide, Ryan. Who do you think is going to be going home?
I want to say Sydney stays, so I'm going to go with my heart here because I want Sydney to be a villain on this season and long term, and say Ricard will be the one voted off.
So we're going to be right. So
yeah. So all three of us are saying different people.
Such a politician, Brian is.
All right. Well, we'll see which of the three of us is right. Presumably, we're assuming the other three are safe, and we're assuming that Erica is smashing the hourglass. All right.
We're assuming we're going to get a tribal next week.
Right, which is not guaranteed anymore.
Again, we were assuming that we were going to go to tribal this episode. So, yeah. Other than that, I guess we can wrap this up. You guys want to shout out your social media?
DJ Clubberlang on Twitter. Follow me there. Dune, very good movie. I talked about Dune. Seeing it again for the first time.
I gotta see it.
First time in theaters this Friday, so I'm excited about that. In Atmos, in the Friends private theater, not a big.
Very nice.
The Atmos setup, which HBO Max supports. So, very excited about that. Other than that, follow me on Twitter. I apologize for my absence. I had a child, in case anybody's wondering. That's all you need to know about me, though, because I'm just such a good mystery. But glad to be back. But follow me on Twitter, DJ Clubberlang, 2 B's. It'll be in the little info thing. Let's get those followers up. I don't have a lot. Let's get them up.
Please go follow Dylan there. I'm excited to watch Less Attractive Xander on the big screen with Dune, as we said earlier, with Timothée Chalamet. You follow me on Twitter at @FakeBMar, that's BMARR. Also, what I'm doing when I'm not doing this is talking about sports on the Wicked Good Sports channel. Do a video almost every single day of the week. So, follow me there.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Ben Sharon. You can follow the main channel on Twitter at WG Everything. You can follow the main channel on other platforms that would get everything Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and whichever one I'm forgetting. YouTube, I guess. I think it's probably one I'm forgetting.
Yeah, YouTube. That's a good one.
And this channel on YouTube is Better Radio, and this is the Line Deciders podcast, where we talk about Survivor. We'll be back next week with episode 7. Until then, have a good one.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Oh.